Hello, my name is Mr. Wilke, and I'm here today to teach you about the zero product property. So if you look up here, the zero product property says if A times B equals 0, then A equals 0 or B equals 0. That makes sense, right? Think about it. Everything times 0 is 0. 5 times 0 is 0. 8 times 0 is 0. 9 million times 0, still 0. Negative 9 million times 0, still 0. So anything A times B equals 0, one of them's got to be 0. Think about it. There's no two numbers that you can multiply together that aren't 0 that are going to equal 0, right? Right. Okay. So A times B is 0. One of them's got to be 0. So if 2A equals 0, what does A have to be? A equals 0. Now, makes sense. Let's go to this. X minus 3 equals 0. Not a product. So we have to solve this, right? So we're trying to figure out what does x equal. Well, how do we do that? Well, if x minus 3 equals 0, we add 3 to both sides. And x equals 3. Makes sense? X plus 4 equals 0. What do we have to do? That's right. Subtract 4 from both sides. So x equals negative 4. Now, the whole purpose of the zero product property. Remember, we've been factoring for the last couple weeks, right? So factor, why do we factor? I don't know. Was it just to simplify it? Or, let's look at this. X minus 3 times x plus 4 equals 0. Okay. So, what do we know about the zero product property? Zero product property says, if A times B is 0, one of them's got to be 0. So if x minus 3 times x plus 4 equals 0, then x minus 3 equals 0, or x plus 4 equals 0. Oh, well, if x minus 3 is 0, x is 3. If x plus 4 equals 0, x is negative 4. So x equals 3 or negative 4. And that's the whole point in factoring. Okay? Cool. All right, so now we're going to want to solve an equation. This is a quadratic equation. When there's an x squared term where the degree of the polynomial is 2, your highest exponent is a 2, this is called a quadratic equation. So to solve a quadratic equation, the first thing we want to look at is, does it factor? Now, why? Why do we want to see if it factors? That's right, yes. We want to see if it factors because if we can factor it, we've got this side equal to 0, we use our zero product property. So, does this factor? Well, do we remember how to factor? We can do rectangle, diamond problem. Maybe that's still necessary. 1 times negative 12 is negative 12, sum is 1. So I need two numbers whose product is negative 12, sum is 1. So one's positive, one's negative. So they're 1 apart, negative 3, positive 4. That works. So now I've got x squared, negative 12, negative 3x, 4x, just find our GCFs. X, x. It's always easy when a equals 1, right? A being the leading coefficient. All right, GCF here. Well, 1. Or, sorry, GCF here is negative 3. GCF here is 4, so I have x plus 4 times x minus 3. Now, that's factored, but this is equal to 0. So we use our zero product property x plus 4 is 0, or x minus 3 is 0, and from what we just learned, x equals -4 or 3. Okay, so let's see if we can do this one. You try. See if you can factor that. How do we factor something? Well, let's think. Do we even need the rectangle? We might not need the rectangle. We might be able to do it just with the diamond. Let's try it with just the diamond. It's ax squared minus bx, or plus bx plus c equals 0. A would be 1, b is -9, c is 14. So this is AC, this is b, so -9, 14. Two numbers, multiply together to get positive 14, add together to get -9. Both of them have to be negative. -2, -7. That works. Okay, so now I've got, do you notice this over here? +4 minus 3. So when the leading coefficient is a 1, we can just use our diamond x minus 2 times x minus 7 equals 0. So what's x? Well, zero product property says this times this is 0. One of those has to be 0. So x minus 2 is 0, or x minus 7 is 0. If x minus 2 is 0, x would be 2. X minus 7 is 0, x would be 7. It's that easy. We got it? Want to try one more? Let's try one more. All right, let's try this one. 6x squared minus 11 equals x plus 4. Anybody have any idea where to go with this? No GCF, no, Okay, so what did the last two look like that this one doesn't? That's right, they were all equal to 0. Let's make one side equal 0, the other side, see if we can factor it. So how do I make this equal 0? Well, subtract x. 6x squared minus x minus 11 equals 4. Subtract 4. Six x squared minus x minus 15 equals 0. Let's see if we can factor 6x squared minus x minus 15. So, box, diamond. So what do we got? We've got 6 times -15 is -90. -1. Two numbers, multiply to get 90. No, 10 and 9, right? -10 times 9 is -90. -10 plus 9 is -1. So let's fill in the boxes. 6x squared, -15, -10x, and 9x. Let's do it. GCFs. GCF of 6x squared and 9x would be 3x. GCF of 6x squared and -10x would be 2x. That works because 3x times 2x is 6x squared. Over here, GCF is 3. 3x times 3 is 9x. This is working, right? Here we've got -5. So we've got 3x minus 5 times 2x plus 3 equals 0. Zero product property, right? Zero product property says 3x minus 5 equals 0. 2x plus 3 equals 0. I'll solve this one, you solve this one. Ready? Go. Add 5. Divide by 3. So I've got x equals 5 over 3. And what did you get? Negative 3 over 2? Let's check and make sure. Subtract 3. So x equals 5 over 3, or negative 3 over 2, and we've got it. So the whole purpose of that unit on factoring was this makes it easier to solve quadratics. Okay? We're going to practice with these for a while, and then coming up within the next couple days, we're going to learn what happens when it doesn't factor. All right, thanks for listening in.